Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. This is the artist Scott, and I'm here to teach you how to draw, and I've chosen the medium of comics to show you how to draw. So things keep going around for me. I'm going to try something else now. Uh, it's been difficult for me to make the videos and post the videos. So what I decided to do is I was going to make the videos and then just post them in 15-minute increments. And that also has been difficult to do it in one day. So I'm going to make the video, and then every day I'll post a 15-minute increment. But I should be numbering it, so you should be able to keep up with it if you just read the title. This is Let's Make Some Comics. It's the first class, which is the freshman class, which means you don't have to really know anything. And this is day 3. This is part 1 of day 3. And what we're doing now is, if you're kind of confused when you catch in on this, because this one happens to be your first one, you can go back to the first ones and catch it. There's day 1 and day 2 already, and then part 1, 2, 3, 4 for each one. Okay, what we're going to move on to now is the human figure, which with comics is very important. Human figures, pretty much what all the comic books are about. So if you checked out our supplies, then you know that I'm using a dictionary. I'm at my dining room table because this is the freshman class. I'm not getting very professional with it. I'm just doing it as if you and I are together sitting at a kitchen table working. I've got a clipboard here, and then I've got my paper. I put my paper in sideways just because I'm weird like that. And I didn't mean to cut off the feet, but it wouldn't fit otherwise. So I just left the feet cut off. But I did draw them. This is for my chapter on the human figure, which, by the way, if you're first tuning in, this is the first time I'm actually having a chapter heading. So that should be interesting. Anyway, what I wanted to continue with is first I want to show you this, that what I did was this is a drawing of the character that I've been working on. He was named, for those of you who don't remember, he was named Super Sensor back when I was, I don't know, somewhere between 11 and 13, and I'm just kind of updating him for the crowd. We haven't talked about this lady yet. I threw her in here. I'm planning on her being his girlfriend. Maybe not. Definitely ex-girlfriends, high school sweethearts. We'll see where the characters go once we learn. But she's not going to show up in actually the first, comic that we're doing. We're just doing his origin for the first comic. And just to show you that each time you do something, things will change and get better. My very first kind of light sketch that I did was from memory about when he was, when I was a kid, what his mask looked like. And I didn't want his mask to look like that. So what I did was I kind of, in a later one, Super Sensor, by the way, that's his name up there. And I was kind of trying to figure out what his face looked like, and I was showing you what kind of like his mask was from the old Black Lightning, not the one you see currently now on TV, but the one that came out back in the 70s. And this is the first time I drew his costume, and I should say first time I drew his costume in many years. And anyway, I went ahead and redid this, so as you can see, I've refined it a little bit more, so there's more details. And what will happen is each time you do something, you'll do it better. So don't feel too bad the first time you do something on how it works out. And when we're talking about the human figure right now, what we're basically going to focus on is just proportions. We're going to have I'm going to focus on the characters and their proportions. We'll start with the male hero and then move into the female hero. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick little sketch here. And in this sketch, I'm going to show you like the proportions of a hero. All right. So I'm doing. By the way, we're going to spend the rest of this time on the human figure. So try not to feel discouraged if you're not getting it right away. And Let me do it a little bit darker for you. These are just basically guidelines. And I said before previously, try not to name things as you go along, because that's kind of what messes you up, because you end up saying, oh, that doesn't look like a head, and you move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm sketching out these shapes. These are oval shapes, but this is the head and this is the neck. And we kind of want to go one head down here, and we're doing the rib cage real quick. Okay, and then we're going to go another head down here, and then this is the top of what's known as the pelvis. And again, don't worry about all this stuff. We're gonna go through this, and you're gonna learn this. But right now, I'm just giving you proportions. So you've got the hero, the superhero, is based on 8 heads. So we've got one head here, and then we've got another head here, and then we've got another head here, and then we've got another head here. There should be a head long. And then you're gonna, for the legs, we're just gonna do those cylinders that I was telling you about. And the head kind of goes down to here, and then the next head goes down to here. So you kind of cover the knees. It comes down a little bit above, a little bit below mid-thigh, and then just below the knees, I should say, excuse me. And then we've got another cylinder here for the calves. And then we've got the foot. And this is basically the 8-head superhero model. And again, this is just real loose sketches, just because I want to show you what it kind of looks like. And these are just proportions. We're going to work on how you're going to do all of this later on. So just before, when I was saying focus on just the form, this is what I mean by focusing on just the form. So we're not getting too much into all the details, but the arm comes down again. This is more cylinders, and then the hand, he's got the hand kind of curled, and it should be about just above mid-thigh as well. And these are your basic superhero proportions. When you're drawing regular people, you're going to go by a shorter model. You won't go so big. And I definitely drew that arm too long. Excuse me. But that's basically it for the superhero on as far as proportions are concerned on the 8-head high. And it looks like I didn't even do them 8 heads. It looks like I did them a little shorter than that. So he'll be a short superhero. He'll be like Wolverine. By the way, I know everyone's used to seeing Wolverine in the movies, and Hugh Jackman, the actor who plays him, is very tall. But Wolverine is supposed to be short, actually. So let's go into the female form real quick. And with the female form, things are the same, but they're very different. Okay. And what we're going to do is you want to make her just a little bit shorter. And it depends on the woman too, because some women are obviously taller than men, and a lot of women are shorter than men. So, it depends on what you want to do here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start at the top of the page. I'm gonna put in a basic oval for the head, okay, for the woman, and then I'm gonna come down, and when we do, it's basically the same construction. Okay, you got one head here. Excuse me, I'm not used to doing these lines, so This is why it seems so weird. I don't really draw these straight lines across when I'm doing the heads. I just kind of measure like this when I'm going down, okay? Just so you know, so it doesn't look so weird to you. And the rib cage will have a tendency to be a little narrower. And again, for women, the hips will be a little bit wider. Let me draw that across here. And draw that across here. And then draw that across here. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and put the leg. Well, I should really mark it out, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be a little higher. And 7. And as you could tell, I kind of don't go down below to the feet. Usually it cuts off like just above the ankle, and then I just put the feet in. So it's probably not actually fully 8 heads. It's probably more like 7 3/4 head. But it's the same concept. We're doing a cylinder here, little ball for the knees. And again, I'm going to show you all this later on, but I'm just trying to give you the proportions right now. And the elbows, by the way, should be just about at the bottom of the rib cage. And then the hands, if the hand is fully extended, it'll end like around mid-thigh. And I know I said curled up, it'll be mid-thigh, but that's actually not correct. It's actually, so that's kind of the proportion. As you can see, I'm way off on this figure. but that's kind of the proportions for the human female superhero. All right, so I'm going to go back to this one and go about the male if he's not a superhero. You generally, when you're doing superheroes, you generally want to make them bigger and stronger than normal people. You don't have to. Everyone comes in different shapes and sizes, so you don't have to do that. But what you can do is you could focus on. What you could focus on is smaller things, like his head will be slightly smaller, okay, and I'm gonna kind of turn him a little bit here, so he's at the side. He's not facing his head on. And because his head's a little smaller, he'll be shorter than the superhero. And it all comes out in the wash. And going through the camera like this is not something I'm used to. Neither are drawing these lines out. That's not something I'm used to either. It's just something I learned. It's just something I learned as I was going along. And what I'm going to do actually at this point, since we're talking about proportions, the 15 minutes for the first part is pretty much up. So what I'm going to do, or close to it, what I'm going to do is end it now and tell you to join into the freshman class day 3, part 2 is where this is going to pick up again. And I'll pick up right from where we left off, but I will put this header up, which I guess might be a little confusing, but I'll put this header back up again. Okay? See you in a few, or tomorrow, depending on how you look at it.